past while, Shane Dawson and his husband Ryland have been trying to have a child. Not only one child, but 2 children. And finally, it has happened. Shane Dawson and Ryland took some photos of them having 2 children, and they had these children with a surrogate mother. Now, if you don't know anything about Shane Dawson, he's super old school on YouTube, probably 15 years by now at least. He's had some movies that are not great, and I've seen them all. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not the best. He's done music, which I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I did enjoy the music. I mean, honestly, if you pull up Super Love or his Christmas songs, there's a good chance that I will still secretly be bobbing my head. Most of all, though, I feel like he's known for his controversies at this point, honestly, more than his career that he's made off of his comedy skits and his vlogs and his food eating videos and his friend groups and etc. With that being said, he's probably the face of what quote unquote being canceled on the internet is. I mean, him and honestly, he's probably the pinnacle of it when I think of it. People brought up a lot of videos where he's done creepy jokes towards children, if you want to call them jokes. It depends on how you want to take it. He declares that they are jokes, or they were meant to be. Some people don't agree. He's also done a lot of racist things that were supposed to be also humorous, which even during their time were not good. And I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, he's also made jokes about having sex with his animals, which people also believe are not jokes, but he also says they are. So yeah, he's been quote unquote canceled a lot. And I don't really believe, like, when I say canceled, I just use that as the term of people, giving you backlash, not necessarily as a way of, oh, he can't make videos anymore. That's just not how it works. I feel like the only way you really get canceled is if you're legitimately like not able to make content anymore because one, you either like have your internet access completely revoked or you're like in jail. But either way, a lot of people were massive fans of this guy though. I mean, I think he got to like 20 million subs. Around the time he got completely devoured on social media was around the time that his palette with Jeffree Star came out, and those videos were getting about 40 to 50 million views. He was at an all-time high for his career, and he's always pretty much been somebody that thrived on YouTube, from getting that many views to getting a couple million. To be honest with you, I mean, he's a massive reason as to why I got into YouTube. I was a very big fan of him. I don't deny that. I don't think that makes me a bad person or anything for being a fan of someone when I was younger and enjoying their content and having YouTube access and connecting with someone. That was pretty normal. I think, quite honestly, a lot of us probably relate to that. But yeah, no, I mean, he was by far my favorite YouTuber for a long time. So it's, it was upsetting to see everything be brought to light, and also just everything. With that being said, though, it's completely understandable for people to have concerns about him having a child and everything. And lately, for a while, like, he was off the internet. He kind of took time away and came back not too long ago, kind of doing videos every now and then on his main channel. He got married to his boyfriend at the time. Now he's, he does a podcast with his brother and a few other people. That's mostly what he does now. He's kind of a little more low key at the moment, kind of just coasting, but still doing internet stuff to an extent for the people that still want to watch him. Hopefully, in my opinion, I hope he's taken time to learn and grow and better himself and look back on things. And that's, I don't know. I just hope that for anybody in general. I always try to encourage that. And a lot of people probably don't think you should and but you can feel that way. I'm just saying how I feel about it. I just hope that he betters himself. I don't think that takes away from the negative things that he's done, of course. But yeah, so he had a kid, and it was announced a day or two ago. Ryland and Shane dropped photos with their child. And the reality is a lot of people are upset that these 2 men are having kids in general. A large majority of people are upset because of, Shane's past. That's pretty understandable if you feel that way. If you feel like he shouldn't be able to have kids because of things he said and done, that's valid. The reality is that he's legally allowed to have these children, it seems like. They also used a surrogate mother, which is, where they take their sperm and then they put it into a surrogate mother. So technically these are their kids. But yeah, so they had 2, I think they're twins. I'm not sure. They had 2 boys either way. And a lot of people are upset with that. And I think, if you're concerned about it due to the fact of Shane's past and things he's done and said, that's completely valid. The annoying thing that I've seen on Twitter, which I'll kind of talk about, is just people are trying to use Shane Dawson and, this whole situation as a way to come at people that are surrogates and to come at people that are adopting and people that are, they're just using it as a way to be homophobic and say like old gay people are creepy and stuff like that, pretty much, or they shouldn't be able to adopt, or surrogate parents shouldn't exist. The funny thing is that a lot of surrogate parents and stuff, like, it's not just with gay people that use adoption or have surrogate parents. Some people, they just aren't able to have kids, and that's a way for them to have kids. I think it's really upsetting that people are using Shane Dawson, who is a person that's I don't want to really speak for him necessarily, but a person that's, I guess in my opinion, done things that are completely negative and not great. And they're using him as like the face of this community, or people that use, surrogate mothers and stuff to put down people that have. I don't think that's very fair, because a lot of these people, believe it or not, are just not him. It's always an individual thing. Every person's their own person. And quite honestly, a lot of straight parents are not the best parents. There's a lot of great straight parents, but there's also some really bad ones out there. And there's, probably some gay parents out there that are not the best either. And there's probably some amazing gay parents. So it really just depends on the person by person thing, and trying to paint it out as this or that is crazy. And another thing I found really annoying, I brought this up in my other video, is that people like also say like, oh, I wouldn't want a parent or whatever. Like, and I can say as a person that lost their dad at 13 years old, which my dad was fantastic, whatever. I think if you have two loving parents, whether they're biologically your parents or not, and they truly love you, I think that's a pretty amazing thing. And I think that's all you could ever want. And I'm not just speaking for Shane Dawson and Ryland or whatever. This is more so a general thing. So I would assume that ideally it would be amazing for people to have two people that care about them, or, that are able, even if it's just one person that cares about them and is able to raise them. A lot of people lose both of their parents, or have to, be put up for adoption, or have like unfit parents and their family has to take care of them, or, their grandparents have to take care of them. And sometimes those grandparents or family members become people that are, I don't know, just like as loving as you could ever want. And people will call them like straight up their parents. And, that's all you could ever want, So I feel like a good home is a good home. And people really try to paint this out as like, oh, you need a mom and a dad or whatever. And that's awesome. If you could have a mom and a dad, then awesome. Good for you, I guess. But if you could have two loving dads, then that's awesome too. If you can have two loving moms, then that's awesome too. If you can have one loving mom, that's awesome. I mean, everyone's life is different, but yeah, I hate the fact that people are trying to use this as a way to put down people that, adopt or, have surrogate mothers. If you individually don't want to forgive Shane Dawson, or don't feel like he should be able to have a kid, that's totally valid and fine, and you can feel that way. But the reality is that he's able to have these kids. Legally, that's what's happening. You can complain about it. You can get upset with that. That's fine. But that's currently what it is. I also saw people people were taking this photo and they were saying that Shane Dawson was, they put an emoji over the baby's face, and they were saying that Shane Dawson was breastfeeding the child, which I find really annoying, because if you're going to look at these situations and actually care about these situations, you should use, what's actually out there as facts, and not try to spread misinformation. If you look up the actual photo, which is on his Instagram, you'll see the baby, he's just holding his kid. So to try to like twist it and stuff like that, I understand that he said and done horrible, creepy, and offensive things. You can pull up all the videos from 10 years ago or whatever, or however many years ago, and you can use them against him, and you can tell him he's a piece of shit or whatever, and he shouldn't be a dad. But to like pretend and like take situations out of context, I just feel like that's really disrespectful and like honestly kind of creepy on your end, honestly. So that's just my perspective on it. Yeah, I feel like people are using them as a person like, oh, you shouldn't be able to do this though. And I think that's honestly really negative towards a larger community of people. There's a lot of really good people that should be parents. Trying to use him as like the face of this and everything is just disrespectful. This is one individual, and if you have your problems with them, that's totally fine, but don't try to make that the whole community of people's issues, because that's going to affect a lot of people that could be amazing parents and a lot of people's individual lives. That's mostly what I have to say on this situation, though. I'm not trying to make you like Shane Dawson or anything, and when it comes to it, though, I want Shane Dawson to be the best dad that he can be, and I hope he's grown. And if people have a problem with that, go off, tweet about it, whatever you want to do. You can be upset. That's completely valid. If you're upset with me saying this, that's completely valid. But I hope that Shane Dawson's grown, and I hope Ryland is great, and I hope they're amazing fathers, and I hope their kids have a fantastic life. And that's really it. Yeah, and I think when it comes towards people trying to use this as a way to push a homophobic narrative, or anti-surrogate mother narrative, or anti-adoption narrative, I think you're a complete moron, and you're an asshole, and you don't know what it's like to just be in those shoes of these people. Nor do I know what it's like to be in the shoes of those people, but at least I try to care for those groups of people. That's my perspective on it.
Your lipstick is colored, don't bother, angel. I know exactly what goes on.